starring His Lordship.
So now I'm recording, and now pull out your phone and tell me exactly what time it is.
I don't have my phone.
Yeah, well, you're lucky I have this extra, right?
Let's go pet his beak. My phone's at Hoam. Pet his damn beak. Love him till he's rotten alien boy.
So it is 9:07 p.m.
Beak!
9:07 p.m. on the night of Tuesday, or the evening of Tuesday, June 14th, 2016. Now it's exactly...
The day the clouds cried.
This is exactly 24 hours from the time we heard about Beekchild, pretty much down to the minute. 24 hours ago, exactly, we were told that our Lord and Savior, our great world teacher, Beekchild, was dead, and Dillon was sitting right here, and then I was sitting right here at the Zestos in Clarksville, Indiana. And so you go ahead and sit down, and then we'll talk about it.
Mountjoy! 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 Mountjoy!
So we're at, as you can see by the sign, we're at Zesto's.
Proselytize for Pilchoid.
And so you go ahead and tell what happened when we heard the news, like what was going on.
Well, a suspected dark agent of Meshuko, known as your mother, called the phone with some tragic information. And well, at this time we don't have the full details on the story, so we don't know who or what is responsible, but we have some suspicions, and you know who you are.
All right, now introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, I'm known as the High Priest of Pilchoidio. His lordship.
You're the Grand Wismot in the Amab.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other name you can choose if you want.
That's a cool sounding name.
Grand Wismot of the Golden Beak.
Alright. And then your real name.
My real identification code is Dillon Cox. And I love Beak, and it's been a rough day. It's been a rough 24 to 48 hours. And as you can see, today is the day that the clouds cried in honor of His Lordship. And you can see some golden rays of pink light on the horizon, representing the hope for a new physical manifestation of His Lordship.
And so when did you first meet Beekchild?
Well, we didn't really exactly determine. I'd say it was probably in the year of our Beak, 2010 maybe, around that area. And yes, I have some of his sheddings. Yes.
Some of his plumage because he's a magical owl.
Yeah, but that's not going to make up for the loss.
Alright, now you keep this horizontal, and then you record me.
Love his damn beak.
Oh yeah, this is Beekchild, magical owl.
And the RRG stands for really, really good beak.
My name is Kristian Naugle. I am the Ultra Supreme Eccentrical Guardian Master of the Crucial Mysteries at the Esoteric Majestic Order of Bottlenose, also known as the EMOB, E-M-O-B. And me and Dillon are co-founders of the EMOB, under the guidance and teachings of our Lord and Savior, Beekchild.
Proselytize for Pilchoid.
And tell us who Pilchoid is.
Pilchoid? Well, I think you know who he is.
You're talking about Beekchild?
The Grand Lordship, yes.
Well, anyway.
One of his many names, the Hindus have their name for him. All these races and creeds and religions have a name for him.
And these different cultures and ways of life.
Yeah, Pilchoid is one of his, avatar names because he's been throughout the ages in different guises and forms of physical manifestations, and he will continue to prosper.
So anyway, me and Dillon started up the EMOB, the Esoteric Majestic Order of Bottlenose, in December of 2011, when Beekchild was still in really good health, and dedicated to his teachings and, spreading the basically sharing the wonderful
The
greatness.
hidden knowledge, the encrypted lessons.
And, well, they definitely are, like, deeper meanings. I mean, we play around and goof off saying Beekchild, Monk Nose, and Alloon Bear, and that's all fun.
That's just proselytizing for Pilchoid.
But, like, within the teachings, there's actually really serious stuff, because Beekchild taught us the mysteries of humanity. I mean, when you see him stare out into space, I mean, what's he thinking about? I mean,
well, no plebeian Cretan is going to understand these things, okay? They haven't learned these lessons, okay? They're not going to learn them. And they're going to feel bad about it, but, you know, that's the price they have to pay for hating his nose.
some people think Beekchild is a cat, but that's not what he is. He's actually a magical owl.
Some people don't even feel that saving the remnants of his physical manifestation is an important step.
Those are the people that believe in other superstitions and just don't understand the mystical teachings of bottlenose.
Like people who are addicted to coffin nails.
Anyway, on to another topic. I got pictures of Beekchild from last year in 2015 where he got to sit in my computer chair and fur it all up because he was molting. And I collected his plumage, feathers. Some people say fur, but I collected it, put it in a Ziploc bag. And anyway, in this picture, a few of them, he's looking at his shrine that I dedicated to his teachings.
He's pondering the wisdom of his own mind.
Well, he's admiring the work that I did to really
because
capture his
you're
teachings.
proselytizing for Pilchoid, correct?
For Beekchild, yes, our Lord and Savior. So anyway, this morning I woke up. I was actually depressed all night and morning and most of the day because 24 hours ago, me and Dillon heard about Beekchild dying, which is, I thought, something that would never happen.
Well, I mean, he may be dead, but that doesn't mean anything.
Anyway,
the great wheel of Blackie Beaker goes on and on.
I put pressure on my mom. I put pressure on my mom this morning. I said, you call the vet. And you tell them that I want Beekchild cremated, since it's going to be done anyway. The condition he was in, he was all sickly like a month ago. I seen him, and he licked off a bunch of his fur. All of a sudden he kind of looked sick.
And she tried to say, well, it costs too much.
Yeah, she said the vet said it cost $150 to have just him cremated, just Beekchild. And I told her I will pay it. She's like, are you sure that's a lot of money? And I'm like, this is Beekchild we're talking about. I mean, think about it. When will I get another opportunity to do this? It's not like I'm spending $150 every month for this. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Yeah, and you get to get a ceremonial funerary urn to honor his ashes forever.
And it'd be nice if it's made out of diamonds, real diamonds. Anyway.
Well, that doesn't matter because the contents of the urn are worth more than any diamonds.
That's true. He teaches the mystery of diamonds, is what I was thinking about.
And after all, he's a natural wellspring of diamonds. I mean, he can make them come and appear at any moment and rain from the sky in as much quantity as he wants because he's Pilchoid.
He's Beekchild. He's Monk Nose. He's magical alien baby.
Pet his damn nose until he makes you go crazy.
So anyway, I was talking to my mom this morning. I said, I will pay the $150 to get Beekchild cremated. We have to have his remains. Because as I talked to you, Dillon, earlier today, about how, the Catholic saints, throughout the centuries have been canonized and enshrined. I think popes have been. I remember there was this one documentary about a nun that was done like that, and that was back before they really had the means to do it really well. And I mean, this is the Catholic Church doing that, and there's a lot of people that take that seriously. Well, maybe
not anymore.
Well,
the current pope.
But within Catholicism, they take it seriously.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people, not all people, and so these people that were very influential and very important within the Catholic Church, their bodies have been preserved.
And they put pieces of them in reliquaries
And so, I mean, Beekchild, he started his own cult, his own fraternity, his own secret society, his own
Well, yeah,
mystery school.
but what's really impressive about it is he didn't even have to do anything. It just sprang up because of how mystical and magical he was.
Well, I mean, through us, and,
Well,
and
it's
his
like,
influence on us.
but it's like how people back in the day were really inspired by Buddha. They're like, wow, this guy's great. Man, he said some wise stuff. That's basically the same thing. Beekchild said some wise things. One particular instance that comes to mind is an ancient historic fable slash tale slash legend, whatever you
Well,
want
it's
to call
been
it.
buried in history because people have tried to forget it.
Well,
You're talking
yeah.
about Johannes McGillicuddy.
Yeah, you're right.
And the mystery of diamonds.
Well, that was one of the many mysteries that he pondered, but yes.
So now
we even had to dig this stuff up. I mean, it's not something you could just find out about,
Well, if it wasn't for the Soli brothers, their surname or family name is Soli, Soli. The two brothers, their names are Botner and Babenard. If it wasn't for what they did, if it wasn't for the work they did, this stuff would still be buried and forgotten.
It's kind of like, we've all heard about the library at Alexandria and it burned and all the
treasures of knowledge that have been lost.
Of generations were lost. It was essentially something like that.
So, we're on the topic of Johannes McGillicuddy. And so anyway, what that was, about 500 years ago in the early 1600s, when the Discovery Age is really starting to come to be, there's this guy. Forget what part of Europe he lived in, but according to the legend, he was trying to get to sleep one night. He had his window open.
He was a scholar, right?
Well, actually, I'm not really clear on that. But he was visited by Beekchild. Or, actually, as the legend goes, certain species of owl known as... hold on, don't say it.
I think it was Pilchuiticus ipecicus.
No, it was... Chilatinus Monkinard. It was something. Chilatinus maxinos. That's what it was. So anyway, he was visited while he finally got to sleep, and then he was visited by this magical owl that sent its astral projection into his room, and like perched over by the the bed of Johannes McGillicuddy, and started whispering the mystical teachings of Bottlenose into his ear, and as it goes, and this went on for a while.
So it was like a stellar Morse code type thing.
And
his brain had to interpret.
But his brain did interpret it, and he woke up feeling the next day, he remembered, refreshed, and he was wondering what the stuff he was thinking about. And he just thought, well, it had happened. So he started telling his fellow villagers over in whatever area of Europe this was, and he started telling them what happened, that he was visited by a magical owl.
And let me guess, they thought he was crazy.
Well, he said that it left him with a glowing paw print in his mind. So it had an impact on him, this visitation. And then he tells these people this, and they think he's fucking nuts. But this was 500 years ago. There was a lot of stuff about reality that they did not know. So their mind filled in the blanks, and their fears and their phobias got the better of them and affected their judgment, and they thought that Johannes McGillicuddy was possessed by the devil or teaching the devil's stuff, and they thought he was possessed by the devil.
What sad lives these people must have led.
So there was a big scandal. The village and the whole region was like resentful and ashamed of him. So they tried to keep him from being remembered in the history books. And And that's
Well,
what
I mean, that wasn't the whole story. I'm sure that the Pope and other people and the Christianity and the other religions throughout the world were a little intimidated by these teachings and probably worked against them.
yes, and just the population in a whole was just weirded out. I mean, they thought this guy was like whack.
Well,
out.
this was kind of before their time. They weren't capable of understanding these things yet. I mean, Johannes McGillicuddy was a visionary.
But anyway, he's remembered in this painting, which we have a picture of, digital copy.
Well, that's a reproduction of a digital copy of a reproduction of the original, which has been lost to time, unfortunately.
It's him where he's got a beard, and he looks like. Anyway, and there's like a tree behind him, and he's got this red bag of diamonds, and he's got this. Is that how his face looks? Something, anyway, and he's got this smug.
It's rumored that the original painting was stolen during World War II by the Nazis, but it must have been pretty important because they didn't find it. None of the Allies found it, and it was never rediscovered. So, the original one has been lost to history. It could very well be somewhere to this day. But we do have the reproduction to look on, so that's good.
Now, was this reproduction, it looks like it was a painting originally. Was it, commissioned by the Soli brothers? Because they lived during the 20th century.
Well, I imagine so, because they were eldritch scholars of these things. They understood, and, it's kind of like when you read about Manly P. Hall and stuff he wrote, and he understood the Masons. That's basically what the Soli brothers were to Beekchild. They knew about him, and they knew the teachings, but they knew not to just give these teachings to anyone.
Do you think they got visited by Beekchild?
They very well could have, by one of his, manifestations back in that time, because he's had many, and he'll have many more.
Okay, so you're confident he's going to come back? Right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So anyway, that's, about Johannes McGillicuddy. Oh, there's a police.
Now, you got to remember, though, in order for him to come back, we have to do our part, and one of the things that entails is we have to stop the dark forces of the Dark Lord himself, Meshuko, also known as Meshitko, also known as Meshitkoid, or Meshukoid.
Yeah, basically, as my son says, Meshuko is a bad guy who lives on the toilet, and he's a bad guy because he eats poop, and he thinks poop is yummy, and that's why he eats it.
That's just one aspect of him. I mean, a child can only understand so much.
But, Beekchild and Meshuko are enemies. And
they've been entwined in a deadly struggle since the dawn of time, and it will continue.
But anyway, so I talked to my mom. We're going to be able to get Beekchild's ashes next week. It's going to cost me $150. And I got the money.
Money well spent.
Yeah, money very well spent. So I'm going to keep his ashes in a container, like an urn or something. Maybe something even more elaborate than an urn. And he's going to stay in the shrine room, and he's going to be part of the Amab Shrine, the Esoteric Majestic Order of Bottlenose. Because in this era, in this time period, he's the first to really establish such an organization that exists like the Amab.
Well, yeah, and plus, before when he's existed, he hasn't had things that could help the spread of his teachings like the internet. We live in a different time now. We could spread his teachings from end to end of the planet, and maybe if we can get our shit together, we might be able to even take him into the stars, into other civilizations who could use his teachings.
So what's that? Because there was a police officer going that way just a moment ago. Sounds like there's something over there. Yeah, bring that camera over and capture that. There it goes. Oh, there's another one. Well, that's all red. That's no blue. I wonder. Now it's white.
Do you think Meshitko's making his move right now?
Well, So anyway, yeah, Beekchild is very important to us. This morning and throughout the day, I got it must have been a dozen people who expressed their sympathy for the passing
for Goblin
away.
Nose.
Yeah, the passing away of Beekchild. So he's important. And these are people who've never met him. They seen the pictures of him and listened or read my eulogy about Beekchild. But Beekchild was special, wouldn't you say?
Oh, very much so. Yes.
I got videos of him. He just sit there posing like an owl, staring into space, just staring into space, like completely motionless. There's nothing around except for like a table and chairs in front of him.
You think he was accepting transmissions?
Actually, he was pondering the mysteries of humanity, and that's the thing. The mystical teachings of Bottlenose can really help society. A lot of these problems that happen in society keep reoccurring throughout time, history, and events because certain aspects of human nature have not been resolved. It's just like how computer software, or hardware problems don't get resolved. They just carry on because nobody fixes them. So that's what I think Beekchild, his earthly ministry, his visit, to our world, which started in around October of 2003 when he was born into this world. He was given to me in December of 2003. Me and him just took to each other really well. He had a special bond with me. They developed one with my son. He became Squirmy Worm for you, Dillon.
Yep.
That's what he does. He becomes Squirmy Worm. He flips over on his back. Well, I've seen him. Like what he'll do is he'll be walking, and then it'll look like he's about to break dance. He flips his hips over and his legs, and then lays on the floor, and then becomes squirming back and forth seriously, he'll wiggle and squirm around while laying on his back, and he wants you to rub his fat belly and make a wish, and that lets you know that he accepted you as a student.
Mm-hmm.
And
tuition is free.
And to all those who love him.
Well, yeah. But he doesn't let you become a student unless, he clearly wants you to pay the tuition, which is free.
Which is just, you got to have loyalty and dedication and take his teaching seriously.
Yep.
So, that's what's going on with that, and now he's gone, and I'm still kind of depressed. What do you want to add?
Well, I think it's important that we remember that his nose is blessed, and he's an alien owl baby, and mere death is not enough to stop it. So, let's think of it as a temporary hiatus, and luckily, we can spread the teachings throughout the world, and other people can learn.
Well, because it's up to us now. It's our responsibility to teach now, since he's gone, and we understand what his teachings are about.
Yeah, and I plan to proselytize for Pilchoid, so yeah, that's just gonna happen.
Now he's also known as Monkra Lord. Like you said, he's got many names. Now it's 9:30 a.m. or 9:30 p.m. As you can see, on Tuesday, June 14th.
So we're gonna have to make a new day for this day to celebrate. Even though it's not something to celebrate, we have to hold a remembrance ceremony every year.
Actually, yeah, we gotta do some because
in a way, it kind of is
a
celebration of his life, and his teachings.
That he has been with us and he touched our lives and altered the course of our lives for the better. You think we're smarter and wiser because we met him and had his influence?
Definitely.
And what are you going to say to people who think he's just a cat?
Well, people like that, they're clearly out of touch with things, and they're a person who wouldn't be able to accept an astral projection. They would just try to, be like, oh, did I eat some rotten turkey earlier? What's going on, man?
But I tell you what, I am glad that we celebrated his birthday in early November of 2015. He was born roughly around Halloween of 2003.
And he had a good birthday party.
Yes, he did. We fed him cake, which was basically a can of cat food.
And we have that documented on film.
Yeah, actually, that's on YouTube, and I posted it on my Facebook wall this morning.
So any doubters that want to see his lordship, there's plenty of evidence.
Yeah, and then my neighbor Dennis,
Also known as Dork Stork.
got to see him. And then my kids were there, my two kids, and we had balloons, and we had streamer or crepe paper, and like actually, I think the happy birthday banner is still hanging up in my house.
Yeah.
And but yeah, we got to have a birthday party for him. And did you think when that happened that would be his final birthday?
No, I couldn't have imagined it.
I didn't think it was going to be the final birthday either.
I remember the last time I petted his squirmy wormy belly and rubbed upon his head.
When was that?
Pretty sure it was I think it was after the birthday.
Like weeks or months after?
Maybe a few weeks after the birthday. I don't know, it might have been more recent than that, because I can't remember when the last time we went to your mother's house was.
Well, it was in March when he went there.
Well, it was definitely like probably within that month that occurred.
Maybe February?
Like before he left, yeah.
Of 2016.
Yeah, like I think there was a time during this new year that I petted his beak.
Anyway, speaking of that, and it was just kind of weird to see. Like a few months back, I don't know, back in February or whatever, I was telling Osian to go bring, Osian is my son, to go bring Beekchild downstairs, because Beekchild was upstairs. I'm like, Osian, go get Beekchild and bring him down here. We're going to go watch a movie. And anyway, I said to Osian, I'm like, hey, Osian, go upstairs and get Beekchild and bring him down here. We're going to watch a movie together. Well, I thought, that what was going to happen was that, Osian's just going to be noisy and kind of scare Beekchild and then chase him down the stairs. Because that's kind of what normally happens. Next thing you know, I see Osian walking in the living room, carrying Beekchild. Beekchild was hung over like this, and Osian was carrying him like that. It looked so awkward. And Beekchild acted like he didn't have a problem with it. And he let my son pick him up and carry him in what looked like an uncomfortable position, carry him all the way downstairs and then into the living room, and then still didn't put up a fight.
Well, he knew he was a future student. He didn't feel unsafe.
Well, there was a special bond those two had together because when my kid's mom was pregnant with Osian, my first child, and nobody knew that Osian had been conceived yet except for Beekchild. Because he can detect, animals can detect, hormonal changes and all that. So it's like those billboards that the Catholics put up on near the interstates. It says, "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee." Like the whole thing, like God knows you before you were born.
Now, do you think
Beekchild literally knew it though?
Do you think when he made that connection with him in the womb in vitro, do you think that he already at that young age sent an astral projection in there to say hello to him and to introduce himself?
No, I mean, we're talking about Beekchild. He's full of magic.
Well, yeah, anything's possible with him.
But yeah, I'm glad that we recorded Beekchild's birthday party. We celebrated with cake. We have birthday hats on. I still got those hats somewhere. It was great, and I've celebrated his birthday before, like his 2-year birthday in late 2005, and then his third birthday in late 2006. And I got a picture of my mom holding him, and he doesn't look like he's very enthusiastic, and he's got a birthday hat on him. I'm gonna have to show you that picture.
He knew even then that she wasn't a true petter.
Well, he loved her, and
It's sad she didn't return the favor.
Well, she took care of him a lot. Took him to the vet several times when he was sick.
But when it really mattered, she didn't take care of his mortal remains.
She thought he was just a cat.
Well, then how could she truly love his nose? I mean, look at that. That's simple. How do you not know that?
She thinks this is all a game, but I mean, now
Well,
you
she's
and I
clearly been misled by the Dark Toilet Terror himself.
the Dark Lord of Toilet Terror. You're talking about Mashuko, right?
Mashukoid.
So, although you and
Mashiko.
me and you goof a lot about this whole Beekchild and Won't Knows, and like, why don't you go pet his beak and don't get double tap? Big double tap.
Yeah, I had to tell my mom today when she called. I said, "Did you hear the bad news?" And she said, "No, what's the bad news?" And I said, "Well, yesterday his lordship died." And she said, "What?" I was like, "Beekchild died yesterday." Yeah, I mean, even she didn't believe it.
Well, anyway,
And she said that she had to have dinner the other day at, I think, El Nepal. And guess who was there? Your favorite, Possum. Yeah.
America's physician.
Yeah, he was there having some dinner, and he apparently bugged them for like a while. I don't know how he paid for his meal, but he was there.
Well, with all those lawsuits from all that malpractice. I mean, so anyway.
He's definitely someone who's going to get double tapped in the future.
So anyway, we goof off and play around with this whole, why don't you go monk him up and pet his beak? But really, like at the very core of it, it's actually serious stuff. I mean, I made a video about that, and you getting water on me. Anyway,
love his damn nose.
We've been recording for about 31 and a half minutes, so we're going to end this recording, and then we're going to alright, it is 9:38 p.m. on the night of June 14th, 2016. And we've been recording for, we're going to wait for it. It's almost 32 minutes exactly. So we've been recording for about 32 minutes. So I'm going to end this recording. And make sure you love Beekchild forever.
Love his damn nose until he goes.
Beak.
Big.